Greetings, people of Earth. I'm Rick Harold. Thanks for watching my video and audio podcasts. Today it's Cryptocurrency Me This Batman.
Source. Holy transistors.
So I talk a little bit about cryptocurrency and my thoughts on it. So I love technology, and technology of any kind. It doesn't have to be software. It can be some new farm implement that helps get corn better. Anything that helps simplify humans' lives or makes it easier for them to live and do their whatever they have to do in life. Whether it's getting more corn and it's easier to get food, or it's easier to spend money. And you can argue about that with cryptocurrency. I'm not getting into that specifically, but I love things in tech that change everything in terms of what's going on. Of course, change for the better. Especially when it helps consumers and producers get closer together. So YouTube's an example of that. I'm a producer here. You're a consumer. YouTube's in the way, but it's not bad. You know, back in the 20 years ago, maybe you could host a website and I forget about how to even stream the data and the internet connectivity stuff. It would be difficult. And if you had to go to a cable station, now you got lots of bureaucratic process to get through. Technology always brings together the producers and consumers of whatever it happens to be, music, knowledge, anything. So that's kind of how I see cryptocurrency right now. And it's not meant to be a political conversation. I know there'll be political comments and stuff. I'm really trying to focus on the technology part and not a historian per se. I like looking at history, but only kind of from the point of view of how it affects people and how it affects people working and getting things done. So obviously people used to barter and people used to use gold, coins. You know, governments or small nations would make coins out of real metal. And then some people would accept that as payment or exchange. Obviously, when you got to paper money, you'd have different, even in the United States, there were different places that would print it in different states that were considered legitimate or not legitimate reserve notes. And the evolution of paper money is interesting in its acceptance, right? All of those generally made it easier, right? It made it easier if I want to go get a sandwich. I don't have to bring my chicken with me as a barter person. I don't have to bring coins now or even paper money. I can bring a credit card or, you know, obviously there's other biometric mechanisms now with Apple Pay and all that kind of stuff. That's still kind of the same, but it's part of it, right? It makes it easier to consume my sandwich and for the guy who makes the sandwich to give me the sandwich. So cryptocurrency to me is a cross-world cooperative piece of gold that there's, depending on which one you're looking at, and I'm not saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this other junk, there's a ton of these things, Ethereum, sorry, are the right ones. But the concept that there's this finite set of cryptocurrency, it's the gold. In fact, you don't mine new gold. You mine new gold today, theoretically, and you could devalue it. There's supposed to be fixed numbers of these things, depending on which cryptocurrency you're looking at. And the idea is that, okay, so if that's what we use to exchange things, we all get a value for that eventually. And there's, in the particular case, the way it's structured, it's not centrally controlled, which allows the consumer and producer, again, to cross-country, cross-legislative rules. Forget about whether that's good or bad. Just from a human point of view, makes it easy to use. I work with a team in India. I work with a team in China. It's a hassle. Wiring money via the bank. I mean, it's not complicated, but it takes steps. They charge you what I feel is exorbitant for a fairly simple transfer. This stuff gets around that. I mean, there's costs to it, but it's what it should be. A little bit like the Amazon method of payment, right? Amazon charges for the value of the thing or what you're doing, like electricity, right? You pay for the transaction, but it's minor. and it's done instantaneous. And because of the way the blockchain works, you have this public record of the transaction that's validated by a set of peers, not necessarily a central organization. And while the IDs in there might be anonymous, and you can argue whether that's good or bad either, it's still not centralized, and it's basically person-to-person kind of thing. So I personally like it. I'm not sure which cryptocurrency is the right or best one. And technically, I know there's limits to some of these things. That Bitcoin's had issues with the blockchain getting big, and Ethereum solved some of that. And a lot of things are based on Ethereum, some of these other cryptocurrencies, of which there's still probably 4,000. There's probably like 10,000 of these things. And I don't know how many of these are really legitimate ones. The Potcoin one was funny. Dennis Rodman going to Korea increased the value of Potcoin with his T-shirt on, right? But this is not going to be put away. Governments may legislate today about it. But when there's a technology that simplifies things, and it has to be honed out and fixed up and problem solved. And I understand government needs to track troublesome people. But the mechanism here of getting rid of the middlemen is critical, because that helps everybody who's involved in the process. And the value of paper money itself is really a virtual value anyway, just as these are, except these are valued across the world, not just by government. And I know governments also want to control the populations by being able to print money for doing things they want to do, or other reasons they want to control the money. And again, that's a political conversation. I'm not getting into that. I'm just talking about the concept that producers and consumers with a cryptocurrency can really benefit by having no middlemen in the process. I happen to have a physical Bitcoin. Of course, this is not a real Bitcoin because it's a calculation, right? This is a 3D printed piece of metal that in itself is a whole other topic. But I had it printed because I could show it to the kids. And of course, I don't remember what Bitcoin was at the time. It might have been like $20,000, but I think it's $8,000 today or something like that. But here is a physical Bitcoin. I show it to the kids, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is that really a Bitcoin?" No, just me being funny. So anyway, that's it. I thought this would be kind of fun to talk about. I'm sure there'll be a lot of comments in terms of the negative aspects of it, or the evil aspects of it. There's evil aspects of cash too, which are a problem, right? This is probably more trackable if done properly. So that's it. Thanks again for listening, and take it easy.